Well, happy Sunday to you, madam.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? It is Sunday. We're here. We're back. We skipped last week. We did not. We didn't do anything that exciting for our Easter. The last couple of years before, we went out and it wasn't last year. It was the year before that we went a little crazy with the
I don't want to
bottomless
talk
mimosas.
about. I don't want to talk about the bottomless mimosas. I have never been the same.
Easter 2022 is a blur.
A big blur.
But anyway, so last week we had planned we were going to have a show anyway last week because there was a show I had tickets for, but then I didn't really want to go, and the weather, it was going to be outside and it was supposed to be kind of cold, possibly raining.
And then it was
so I
none
like,
of those things.
eh.
And then you
And I was
still
like,
didn't
I'd rather just do work. Sometimes you just got to get stuff done. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Great to see you here. And real quick, at the top of the show, I don't know if you guys watched our 2 haul videos that we did this last week. We had some really fun stuff that we found. But we talked about on both of those videos, and I want to bring it up real quick here. Mark II of Notre Dame CPA is doing a live seminar workshop on the 9th, which is day after tomorrow. Called Reseller Rescue, and he's going to basically, we're in April now, so taxes are due real soon, and it's a $19 workshop that is basically helping you very quickly grab all the numbers that you need from last year in order to be able to get your taxes done quickly and well.
and it's just what, $20?
$19.
Yeah, $19. Listen, if you are panicking because taxes are due in a week, which a lot of people do, there's so many of us, myself included, that wait till the very last minute to get stuff done. And if you are looking at your information from the last year or so and going, oh no, what the hell do I do with this? I think it would be well worth that $20 to tune in and get some information to help you guys out there. So the link is down below.
Yeah, it's down below. So like I said, it's happening in 2 days. So time is running out if you want to be able to do that. $19 I think is pretty good if you are worried about your taxes and you want to get in there and find out what you need to find out. Alexis, what's happening? She says it's shoe cleaning o'clock. So she's watching us while she's doing her shoe cleaning. We'll talk more about it when we get to the last part of the show. But Alexis, I did, as I texted you, I did successfully complete my self challenge of going to the bins Tuesday through Friday last week, and I did throw you under the bus and tell Alexis about how Thursday night you were like, do you really need to go tomorrow? You don't really need any more stuff, because this one over here didn't want to hear the alarm go off for another day in a row.
At 6 o'clock. Yeah.
It's 6:30.
Whatever.
6:30. Listen, yeah, the alarm goes off, but guess who still gets to stay in bed while I bring her coffee and go take care of the dogs and do everything that needs to be done in the morning? Like, come on. If the worst thing that happens to you in your life is that you hear the alarm go off and then you get to stay in bed.
I'm not a late sleeper. Neither one of us are, but I detest waking up to an alarm. Yeah. Like, I normally get up between 6:30 and 7-ish every day anyway, 7 days a week. It's just my natural waking up time, but I don't like it when it's an alarm.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I feel the same way, but it's like, I got to get out there, man. And I found some really cool stuff. We'll probably have to we'll film the hauls either tomorrow or Tuesday, but we will. I should be able to get a couple of haul videos out of it. Vikki did come one of the days, so that was good.
Yeah, I got some really good stuff while I was there that day too, so I'm kind of happy about that. I'll probably go with you one day this week too.
I'm not going this week.
Yes, you are. Who are you kidding? Anyway, one of the things I wanted to mention is, like, look at how much natural light there is. So it is 2 o'clock our time, and a lot of times in the winter here, we're completely dark by 4 in the afternoon. I know that's not the case everywhere in the country. It really does depend on where you fall in relation to the equator and that kind of thing. But sometimes we would start our show, and by 3 o'clock it was already pretty dark in here. So I love that. Here we are. Yay, springtime.
We've had a couple of days of kind of chilly weather, but then this week it's going to explode into the 80s. So I'm actually excited about that.
We had some friends over for dinner last night, and we were like, Katie threw some stuff on the grill, and I was like, oh, yay, we get to sit outside for a while. No, it was too cold and windy. We were outside for a total of like 20 minutes.
Lorna, if you watch this, I don't think you're in the chat, but if you watch this later, we did have our first kebabs or as we call them, kebabs of the season. So I got a newly filled propane tank, put the kebabs on the grill, and it worked out just great. So anyway, yeah, so this is our regular show. We're actually going to go to a movie after this.
What are
we going to go see?
We're going to go see The Omen.
Yeah, the new Omen movie.
The new
we're
Omen
excited
movie.
about that. Yay, Lorna is here. Lorna, I thought about you while I was eating my kebabs. Because I know how much you love them.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a couple of things in the chat. First of all, Alexis, filing your extension takes about 30 seconds. You don't need to get through anything, actually.
Yeah.
It's all guesstimations. It's because we file an extension every year. I'm not encouraging people to do that because obviously it doesn't extend any taxes or interest that you owe. You will incur interest until you do file your taxes. However, those of us that are procrastinators, filing is super easy to do online yourself. And one more thing, someone mentioning my hair there. Thanks, this is just blow dried straight. And yeah, I've got about an inch of my roots there, which is my dirty blonde, light brown root happening there. I'm debating whether I'm going to stop bleaching my roots and just continue doing my pink on top of my natural color now. And
you should try it and just see how it looks, see how it goes.
It'll just naturally give like a shadow root. So I'm debating doing that. I'm getting my hair done this week. I think I may, just because as it starts to fade and grow out, I don't have enough gray hair to let it all go gray, and I would if I could.
Yeah,
it's
so
not there yet.
Just wrapping up the tax talk, we always say, there's certain things that we feel very strongly that we can give, good advice and guidance when it comes to being resellers and small business owners. But the one area we say you don't have to listen to us is when it comes to taxes.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Because listen, we are fully aware that filing an extension and then basically waiting until a few weeks before the extended deadline is probably not, well, it's definitely not best practice at all. It's just how we choose to do it, because the reality is, for me anyway, I would rather pretend like they don't exist until that one day where I spend half the day throwing it all together. And then, Mark II is a pretty amazing CPA and he does a great job with our taxes. So we feel, we get it done when we get it done. And that's just the way it is. So there's never going to be a time in my life where I'm going to be running monthly P&Ls and like tracking anything. It's like in that form. It's just not going to happen. And I'm at peace with that, you guys. Okay. And that brings me joy 364 days of the year. And that one day, you know what? Yeah, I hate life for a few hours, but
we talk about it. We've talked about many years in a row that we literally will sit, we mark it on our calendar one day in September every year. It's always a Saturday or a Sunday. And we just slog through doing our taxes separately.
Yeah.
For like 6 to 8 hours on that day. And then it's
never
done.
That's the thing. It's never 60. You're always like, it's going to be all day. You're like, cancel any plans. And you make this big deal about it. And usually there's like a freak out breakdown right when she first starts, where there's probably some tears and some yelling and a lot of cursing.
Yeah.
And then literally 3.5 hours later, she's like, okay, I'm done. Let's go. And then you get that amazing moment where right after it's kind of like when you worked the 9-to-5 job and you clocked out and you knew you had like 2 weeks vacation or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's that feeling of like, yes, I have another year to not even think about this. Anyway. All right. So we're going to get into our show. We break it up into 3 parts. The first part, we look at our numbers for the last week, our gross sales across all of our platforms. I think I'm on 6 platforms. How many are you on now?
I don't even know anymore.
She doesn't even know. Who knows what's happening? And
eBay, Etsy, Poshmark.
I think you're on less. I think you're only on 4. No, Depop you added back.
And Depop, which I added Depop back like 2 months ago. I've only had 2 sales because everybody was like, oh, go back on Depop. It's great now. You can promote your closet. Bullshit. Can't sell anything on Depop. It's like I'm paying to have stuff to cross-posted there, and I haven't sold anything worth anything. So
And, hey, there's Liz. I'm on eBay, Etsy, Grail, Mercari, Depop, and I am a bona fide posh twat. So, so I'm on 6 platforms. Anyway, so we go look at our numbers. We break down, cost of goods, which we think is the most important when it comes to being transparent, as well as your fees, shipping costs, blah, blah, blah. Just to kind of give you a snapshot of how our stores are doing from week to week. And the middle part of the show, we look at our sales highlights. We didn't do a show last week, so we did go back and look at some of our most interesting stuff for the last 2 weeks. And then the last part of the show, we talk about what we accomplished this last week. What our goals are for this next week. We talk about the topic of the show, which I don't know. Vicky never knows what it is ahead of time.
Preparing for
disruption. You probably have an idea of what that means.
I do. I know what that one means anyway.
I like to just throw it at her.
She throws titles in there, and I'm like, "What? What is that about?"
It's gotta be
Somebody
some
tell
sort
me.
of title. But we do have a lot of disruption coming up for us over the next month and a half that we really do have to be thinking about and preparing for. And I know for me, it does cause some stress and a bit of anxiety, which usually goes away the second we're out the door and on our way to where we're going. Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the show and look at these numbers. I did not beat you this week. You were a little bit. You saw the me putting it up there, and you were like, "Oh no, did you beat me again?"
No,
I did not. I did not.
But you are steadily getting better.
You know what? Like mine has been a very, very, very slow climb. The last few weeks, it's been kind of holding steady, but I'm actually not. I'm not mad at that. I'm okay with that right now. I'm just going to keep slogging along, and I'm seeing this stuff sell. I'm at 44 items sold over the last week, so I've definitely improved a lot as far as like my volume. But I want to keep going, and when you're doing those 10 listings a day, 7 days a week, it does come a point where you do get to where you're going to be selling as much as you're listing, because that's just the law of numbers. So I got 27 eBay orders, 6 Etsy orders, 4 Poshmark. And then 7 with Grailed, Mercari, and Depop combined. Nothing private. So 44 total. eBay gross sales. I mean, again, anybody who has watched this regularly, like last year, 2023, I don't even know if I had a single week last year that was over $1,000. I was really struggling to hit 1,000. And now I'm like regularly, like I don't even remember at this point the last time I was like below 1,000. So that makes me happy. Etsy's been pretty slow, 342.54.
Yeah, it was slow for me this week too.
Poshmark 176, and then Grailed, Mercari, and Depop total up to 278. So you know what? Those 3 platforms, they're so weak for me. But when I really like break it down and look at like how much time it takes me to cross post, we both use List Perfectly for our cross posting, and for me, it's so fast. It's such an insignificant amount of my time that's going into it that I really can't complain, and there's no reason to get rid of those platforms. So I might as well just keep going. Total gross sales, $2,020.53. So I did hit the 2,000 mark, which again, I don't think last year there was a single week where I hit 2,000 for my total gross sales. And shipping, $138.48. I do love it when I sell on Poshmark and Depop and Grailed now. I don't have to pay for any shipping. The labels are provided to me, so that's pretty nice. And then my cost of goods, $115. My total net sales, $1,515.64. I would love to push up to where I'm regularly getting $2,000 in net sales. So I guess that's my next goal. Gross average sale price, $45.92. I used to hang out at $70, but you know what? I got to do it the way I got to do it. So
listen, your cost of goods is a million times less than it used to be. So you're still ending up with way more money in the pocket.
Very true. And my net average sale price, $34.45. And you know what? I will say, I used to always say, I'd rather have less high priced items sold and, than doing volume. But I mean, the reality is I'm never going to be doing crazy volume. And there is something to be said for feeling good about being able to ship out on a weekday 7 packages, 10 packages, 11 packages, as opposed to like 1, 2, like even if the amounts total the same or not, even if it's just a little bit more than I'm making, it's like, it does make you feel productive. You feel like it's working.
My numbers are definitely still lower than they used to be. But to be fair, I mean, so our friend Chaz, Side Hustle Network, had made a post yesterday about not wanting to be that seller that's doing millions a year. He cares more about quality of life and making enough money to do well and pay your bills and have a good quality of life, but working 6 to 8 hours a day at like a normal human being, and still being able to enjoy the time that you have on this earth, and enjoying time with your family and friends and making memories. And I'm all about that. Like, that is way more important to me. I still definitely need to be doing better than I am financially. But again, I'm not that person that is striving to do 4 million a year in sales. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's your hustle and that's where you want to be and you enjoy doing that, then God bless you. More power to you. I've always said I don't want to do that. I don't want to be there. If I wanted to do that, I'd be doing retail arbitrage and I'd be selling on Amazon and doing it successfully, and just,
the thing is,
not interesting to me.
When we first got together, we both were working really hard to like grow our stores and grow our revenue. And we were steadily, both of us, year over year, doing better and better and better. So we've experienced those years where felt really good. We were able to put money into savings. We were able to travel and do all this stuff and not be too worried about money. And this last year has just kind of was like a wake up call, like, oh, we got to do something different. We got to figure out how to change with the times, even though we were a little bit behind on it. And so, yeah, it's like we don't need to be making millions of dollars, but we definitely need to be at a more comfortable spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Liz said she saw that post yesterday. Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like that's my goal. Are we trying to be influencers? No, we say all the time, we have a baby YouTube channel. We're not influencers, so to speak. We just,
Yeah, I think we influence people.
It's just, okay we are who we are, and what you see is what you get. Yeah. So, yes, I may bitch and moan and complain about sales being lower than they used to be, but I am also far from willing or wanting to pivot and change my business entirely to the point where it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I would go and work for someone else 9 to 5 and make $250,000 a year before I would be selling retail arbitrage on Amazon. That's not of interest to me.
Right. Lori wants to know if I've reduced my way older inventory too. Yeah. I think things have definitely changed. And so one of the things I've also been doing is going and ending my oldest listings and completely changing them, changing the main photo, changing the title, changing the price. And I have been selling that stuff too. Some of the stuff I'm going to show you today is that stuff. I need to be doing that more. It's hard when I'm trying to keep up with the new stuff I need to list. So I am definitely behind, but I need to get back into that more. All right, let's look at Vicki's numbers.
Okay, so this is not a horrible week. So I had 44 sales on eBay, 7 on Etsy, 10 on Poshmark, which is like the most I've had on Poshmark in a week in quite a long time. And I had 1 on Mercari. So since Mercari made their changes, I've only had 1 sale. I already do free shipping on Mercari, so I actually thought that was going to maybe help me not look like my prices were too high or what have you. We'll see. I don't really know what's happening there yet. Nothing on Depop, nothing private. So I had 62 total orders outgoing, still low on eBay at just, 1868. It's okay, not great, but 1868 on eBay, 472 on Etsy. Etsy was pretty good. Poshmark, like I said, that's back to more of my numbers where they used to be on Poshmark at 369. 1 little sale on Mercari for 29. So my total for the week was 2738.82. Not terrible. I mean, it's definitely been worse, right? The week before was actually even better than that. So, I'm not hating this month so far. 308 in shipping. And then you see my breakdown of all of my other fees from the platforms. My total cost of goods is always low, $112 cost of goods into $2,700. I don't think that's too bad. So my total net sales, just under $2,000. So it was $1,972.74. My gross average sale price, $44.17. You'll see my gross average sale price has gone down quite a bit over the last several months, much like Katy's. I am sending more aggressive order offers. I'm accepting lower prices. I am definitely selling items at under $20 that I never would have sold before, just trying to clear out old inventory and make some money back and just keep stuff circulating. So that's going to see a lower average sale price. But my net average sale price is still pretty good at over $31, almost $32. So
yeah. I mean, yeah,
it's not terrible.
My average has dropped a lot too, but like Vicki had pointed out, my cost of goods has dropped dramatically.
My cost of goods has always been low like that. Yeah. So it's just my average sale price that's gone down, but it's okay. I'm moving inventory. I'm more aggressively moving inventory for sure. So,
Julianne, so you say you do free shipping on Mercari. Also, do you think this will bite us with returns for any reason now? I mean, for me, and Vicki might have a different answer than this. For me, I already do free returns on eBay, but I do sell men's clothing. I sell a lot of t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff that's like, I do not have a very high return rate, even with free returns. And on eBay, my free returns, I have 30-day returns. So Mercari, yeah, they can return for any reason, but they only have 72 hours, which I'm okay with that.
You're also not paying for the return shipping.
Yes, that too.
So no, to answer your question, Julie, I don't think it makes a difference. So because I don't run sales on Macari, that's why I usually offer free shipping. So it kind of offsets it. I'm still getting the prices, but I did want to say that because you're not paying as the seller for return shipping on Macari, that answers your question better, Katie. Sorry.
Excuse me.
You're not paying for the return shipping. So I don't really care that they added free returns for anything on Macari because they have to submit photos. They have to have it done within 3 days, just like before. And they have to get it back to you in a very reasonable time frame. And you're not paying for the return shipping. I don't give a shit. Let them have free return shipping. Honestly, if that's going to make the buyer experience better, then so be it. I'm happier to sell the stuff. So I'm not having I'm not seeing any downside to that really, because they still have to jump through hoops to do a return.
Yeah. Well, people were like, oh, people are going to be renting your clothes. That's like, you only have 72 hours. Ice King, before we get to the next segment, real quick, wanting to know if we're having huge issues with USPS shipping delays. Not really. I know, Vikki, you had one package. I
had one package. So here's the thing. Unless a customer contacts me, I don't know that there's any delay in shipping, right? So I can only say that I've had one person contact me in the last several weeks that I had a package that went MIA somewhere in Wisconsin. If they hadn't contacted me and opened up an item not received case, I would not have known. That being said, I filed a package tracking request with USPS, and much like it usually does, they shook it loose within 2 or 3 days, and it was delivered before the inquiry needed to be responded to.
Nice.
And then the buyer left me positive feedback and said, hey, there was a delay in the shipping, but it was not the seller's fault. They got it out right away, and they were super responsive. So I have not been experiencing that, but you do know, I do know that shipping is slower everywhere. Ground Advantage is slower. That was the whole point of them offering Ground Advantage, was that they could offer slower delivery times through the USPS. But it really is going to depend on where your hub is, where your central hubs are going through, and what parts of the country you're shipping through. And I think that we're pretty good here on the West Coast, and we're not quite coast in Nevada, but we've been fairly, knock on something, fairly fortunate. Our shipping does not really have much issue here that I've found.
I feel like for the Vegas hub especially is a really strong one. We generally don't have many issues. But I will say I've had, since Ground Advantage happened, I've had one package that completely disappeared. And the nice thing is that USPS has been terrible about insurance, like if something gets broken. But when it comes to something disappearing, if they scanned it in, like you're covered and you're going to get that money back. So anyway.
Yeah, right. It does depend on where you are, I think.
True. All right, let's go ahead and look at our sales highlights. I will say, me, for the last 2 weeks, like I said, I've been slogging along. Like, my numbers have been decent. But going back 2 weeks, like, I didn't have any, like, really big sales. I didn't have any sales that went over 100. You had some
I had some really pretty good sales in the last week or two. I mean, my sales the numbers have not been enormous, but I have had some good sprinkled in sales. So are we going to share the screen? What are you doing?
How dare you? Listen. I'm the tech team here.
And your technology...
No, your computer's like throwing stuff up. Just, how about you let the flow go? See, you're breaking the rules here. All right, what do you got? What's this?
This is just to show I can sell t-shirts too. No, this isn't even a vintage shirt. I just really liked the graphic, and it's and I knew the Suicide Girls have a bit of a cult following, so this is kind of like an alt rock, kind of a punk alt rock. A lot of the tattoo girls are into this. So Suicide Girls, Blackheart Burlesque. I've had it listed for a few months, I would say, but it sold for $62, nice. And it was just a cool graphic t-shirt, and I bought it at the bins. So what did I pay, $1?
What did you pay, $1?
I'm happy to. I would have sold it for less had someone sent an offer, but
yeah. All right. First one up for me. I just wanted to put this up. Now, it sold for $50. I sent out an offer for $50, but this is my first needlepoint sale, everyone. Please, everyone applaud for me. Oh, wow. You actually jumped in and did it. I thought you'd poo-poo it. Anyway, I had picked up 2 needlepoints. I mean, I've had them listed now for a handful of months, so they certainly didn't sell quickly. But I was trying to be cool like Vikki, and so I got a couple of needlepoints, and this one finally sold for $50. It is going, I think, to the East Coast, but it's fairly small.
Oh, and you did free shipping?
It's fairly small. It's going to be less than $10 to ship it.
All right.
It's not very big. So, 20 by 16. I don't know, but it's flat. So we'll see.
We'll
see how it goes.
Good luck with that.
How dare you? Raining on my parade. Lorna's impressed.
Lorna clapped.
Anyway, so I was stoked about it. Then just wanted to share.
This was a bins find. I mean, this was maybe 50 cents. It was this scrap of suede leather. It's a handmade, it's kind of like a crop top. It's like, definitely like festival wear. I can see somebody with some really low slung bell bottoms wearing this. And it would currently fit, look cute as a festival outfit now, never mind in the 70s. But this is like deer hide leather. Somebody handmade it with their, I don't know, leather gun or something. But yeah, it sold for the price you see there. I happened to have my sale end one day, and I have like 3 or 4 sales that went through before my new sale started. And I was like, I'm not going to start the sale right away because I was having some good traction without the sale items. So that sold for $80. I maybe paid $1, and I've had it listed. This one, you can tell by the mannequin that this was one of my listers that I had a few months ago. So
it's not, the pictures aren't bad for that one.
No, considering. So I paid like, I don't know, $1.
Yeah. Sunny, the bins here are not super crowded. They can get really crowded like in the middle of the day, or if it's the weekend or school's not in session, because it's real popular with the high schoolers. But overall, like I've seen other bins that look just like a nightmare, and I don't feel like ours is that bad at all. And we definitely find some good stuff. Like I said earlier, I went to the bins Tuesday through Friday this last week, and we will be putting out a couple of haul videos. I found some really good stuff. Every single day I found something good. In fact, I think my worst day was the day that I went with Vikki. So what does that tell you?
You ass.
No, I just didn't find anything crazy exciting that day. Although I did buy, speaking of art, I did buy 2 pieces of art that I scouted out and grabbed. And once Vikki gave her approval, I bought them for $2.99 each, just for our house. But of course, we looked them up, and one of them is like worth maybe a couple $1,000s. So I'll show that in our haul video.
Yeah, we'll do it in our haul.
But so Vikki's actually going to list it, and we're like, if we sell it, we'll either spend it on something for both of us or split the money or something like that.
I see Key Lime Kisses in the chat. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in there in a long time. It is very Coachella, that top.
Yeah. All right, next one for me. I love a shirt. Do it with skill. I always like to pick up like anything like power tool or stuff like that. It's good graphic, kind of funny, and it took a little while to sell it though. Now it's like I can see like based on like how my titles are structured. Like I've completely changed how I do my titles. But I sold it for the $69.99 that you see there, and it's just a cool 80s power tool t-shirt. Dun, 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 power tool core. Do 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 do.
I mean, very like, who's Tim the Toolman Taylor? I feel like I want to do that goofy laugh that he used to do, but I wouldn't be able to pull it off.
Yeah. But I mean, if I was listing this today, I would actually list it for less, because I don't need to be sitting on stuff I've had this probably for at least a year in my shop. So I probably would list it at the $48 price point and then go lower with offers. So just changing things up.
Okay, so this was one that I had gotten at the bins a few months ago. I'm pretty sure I showed it in one of our haul videos. Sure. And it's very lightweight. It's very much like a members only Cafe Racer style jacket, which is why I have Cafe Racer in the title, which is not a copywritten thing. I don't know what that little, I guess that was for a nameplate. If you go up a little bit, someone could put their name in a see-through,
maybe so.
See-through pocket area, put business card. I don't know what the hell you put there. But anyway, I had a customer, this was an international sale. I had a customer for whatever reason wasn't able to make an offer. And they were like, I really want to buy this. Can you put the price at $80? I'm like, of course I'll put it at $80. And, I originally had it listed for $129, which means who knows? I would have taken I probably would have taken $50 for it. But I paid like $1 or $2, and I didn't have it listed all that long. So it sold for $80, which is why you see that flat dollar amount. Because I actually adjusted the price for it to be $80 for them to buy. But
very nice.
They bought it right away.
Very nice. All right, next up for me, I love my Iditarod stuff. Alaska Iditarod t-shirt. Now I have had this one for quite a while, but it sold for, I got my My little notes
Your
here.
cheat sheet.
It sold for $88.
Ooh.
Now, again, I probably
That's
wouldn't.
a reasonable offer.
It is a reasonable offer. I would It is a reasonable offer. This particular shirt, if I was selling it today, I would price it at. I'd go at my $69.99 price point, go down to $50. Again, I sat on this for a while, but I love getting Iditarod stuff. I feel like, sometimes it takes a little longer to sell it, but I usually get a really good price for it. And it's a super cool shirt. I love the red on red ringer tee.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a really nice t-shirt. And I'm glad that somebody out there is wearing it. So
I love ringer tees. I can't wait for the summer. I like ringer tees and I like, baseball tees. That's like my favorite.
Yep.
That's my jam.
Yep. All right. Next up for you.
This one took quite a while to sell. So this is one of those, I'd had it listed for a while. Generally speaking, this vintage Banana Republic Safari stuff sells for really good money and generally sells fairly quickly. I had this listed for quite a bit. I want to say at least like 9 or 10 months. And the only reason it recently sold, because this was one of those items that I ended and did sell similar and changed the title and changed out the photo and changed out the wording. Like I before would never put the words men's or size in a title. And now I've been following the title structure information from Tech and Sports, and I've been, when I change my listings, I put these things in, which I didn't have before. So you can see that it actually sold within a week for the price you see there, the $85, from me ending it and relisting it. And I had it listed for close to a year before.
Speaking to what Lori was asking earlier about me with my store, we're both doing that same thing. I really need to be doing it more.
I'm lowering the prices too when I'm putting stuff up.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the price is already as low as I want it to be, so I'll change the price by like $5 up or down. But you always change the price along with the title.
Yeah. All right, next up. So, for instance, this is one that I've had for quite a while, and I ended it and did the sell similar and changed it. Now, before, this was my main photo. Like you guys know, if you watched us for a while, you know that I always do a closer up picture for my main photo. But with like what Vicki was saying, when you want it to be a completely new listing that's going to be seen differently and indexed differently on Google, you want a different main photo. And then I completely changed. So this is how I'm structuring my titles now, where I have the vintage in the front, and I'm just like Vicki, I'm doing the men's size and like that. So you have your most important keywords right up front. It depends on like how much room I have, but I have been adding in the color as well after the size, which I used to never have the color in my title.
I have the color always, but I always did have the color.
But originally I had this listed at like $200. I had gotten like 5 or 6 of these shirts from Ryan and Riley Roots. So I paid probably like $30 for this shirt. This is I'm 99.9% positive this is the very last piece I have from that. I've sold the other ones for anywhere from like $150, $200 a piece. But this one, I've had it forever. And so I brought it down to $97.99 and it sold for that full price this week. So it definitely works. I've got inventory sitting around that needs to move.
Yeah. Okay, so this is one that I got on our last trip in Colorado. So in Colorado, the linens at the bins are 50 cents a pound. And then you guys know that I ship home hundreds and hundreds of pounds of stuff. So I probably paid for this set, I want to say it was like 10 pounds. So I probably paid $5 for it, plus whatever it cost me to ship home. This was not a lightweight comforter set. And it's not even anything special, but it is a very nicely made vintage 90s set. Now, it's not perfect. Here's the thing, even though it's a linens item, it's not perfect. Like that looks like a blood stain. I don't know what the hell that's a stain of. I very specifically will point out any flaws, but I'm going to tell you what, really nice quilts are very expensive. So people are willing to purchase them with flaws and they're okay with that. So this one I had a customer actually send me an offer. I sold it for $85.
Nice.
It was on sale for $97. I'll take $85.
Yeah.
And then they paid the shipping. And this one did cost every bit of that to ship because it is heavy. So $85. I probably paid $5 plus whatever I paid to ship home, $1 to $2 per item when I spread it out. And it didn't take that long to sell. I mean, I purchased it it was October when we went. So not bad.
Very nice. All right, next up for me, this hideous members only
That's an ugly one.
Canyon denim bomber jacket.
That's an ugly one.
I picked this up at the bins, and this
If
was
only
one...
the exterior matched the interior.
I know, right? Like,
That
look at
inside,
that cool pattern.
that inside pattern's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I actually did get this at the bins, and I was like, I don't know, because it was going to be really heavy, because it's obviously a very heavy, and look, it even has a hood that rolls up into it. It's the most ridiculous
That's
jacket.
ugly. That's pretty ugly.
With this corduroy lined collar. It's just ridiculous. So I haven't had this a crazy long time, but definitely before I changed up my title structure. But probably got it within the last like 6 months or so. But I sold it for the full price you see there, $97.99. It is just a ridiculous jacket, but I couldn't pass it up, even though I feel like members only stuff doesn't sell as well as it used to.
It doesn't, but
seeing
it
that
still
lining,
sells.
I was like, I gotta get it.
You know why it doesn't sell as much as it used to, as well as it used to, is because it's been reissued and it was being sold at like Ross.
Yeah. Well, you find it at like Burlington Coat Factory.
Yeah, that's what Burlington and Ross.
Yeah.
So I thought members only went by the way of, I don't know what, like just gone. And they started coming back out a few years ago with some similar, repop of the Cafe Racer jackets and stuff like that. So when you can buy a brand new one that looks like an old one for $20 at Ross, most people, they're not spending $100 on the true vintage, unless you're a person that appreciates true vintage. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're up.
Looking at Michelle said, photo rooms become my best friend with delisting and editing. I agree with you. I don't use photo room, but I do when it's integrated with List Perfectly. But the eBay's background remover is infinitely better than it used to be. So I've been using that a lot. It makes a difference.
I use the eBay one only for the stuff where I've ended old listings. I'm doing sell similar just because it's there. It's relatively easy. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as photo room. But if it works well enough,
it's darn close on some solid stuff. Like I like
solid stuff. It's fine, but it's not great with my like a white T-shirt that's got but hey, I'm gonna poke you. Anyway, so and then Lorna says that her aunt makes quilts and charges like $800. I don't even think she's charging enough for the time it takes to make those.
When it's handmade, the one that I was that I showed was not a handmade quilt. Yeah. That one was a machine-made one from the 90s. However, I agree with you. The handmade stuff is ridiculous. I mean, it's beautiful. They're so labor-intensive. Anyway, so this
is real fancy.
This was a suit that Katy had found. I
got it from yesterday's fits.
And then she decided she didn't want to sell it, or she gave it to me thinking I'd want to sell it. I don't know. I did.
I didn't want to deal with photographing.
I've had it listed for, and I did this one. You can tell by the crappy photos. So this had a spot on it that I did try to spot treat and clean, and it didn't come out. I made it lighter, but it didn't come out. But it sold on offer for $85.
Look at those pockets.
It was a very cool look. I mean, come on. Can't you picture Stanley Roper?
Oh, this is total Stanley Roper.
Like teeny tiny Stanley Roper. But it sold for, like I said, $85. Someone had sent me an offer, and it was when my store was off sale. So I was like, okay, $85, I will take that, because when I put it on aggressive sale, I would have priced it probably at less. So perfectly happy taking that.
Nice. All right, I think I'm down to like 2 Oshkosh overalls left.
I think I have like 2 or 3 left too.
Yeah, so I mean, the plain denim ones don't sell for as much as some of the pattern stuff.
I'm surprised you got that much for them plain.
But I sold it on the old Etsy for $62.99, and I got these at the bins, and they're real light, so I definitely didn't even pay $1 for them. And sold them for $62.99. But just to reiterate to anyone who doesn't know, kid stuff doesn't necessarily sell very well, but there's certain things like made in the USA, Oshkosh, especially the patterned items that can sell for a lot.
The bubble rompers and the overalls and the T-back overalls, the vest back overalls, they sell really well. Or like the railroad stripe ones, like the conductor stripe, pink and white or blue and white.
Some of them can sell for $200-$300, so it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Ooh, look at this.
This is one that I've had for quite a bit. I believe this one came from the Clothing Vault as well. A lot of the vintage fur coats that I had did come from the Clothing Vault acquisition, which happened. That was the company that Clara and Amanda owned from List Perfectly prior to creating List Perfectly. So I purchased the remainder of their inventory in October of 2020. So that's how long I've had this. It's probably been listed since early 2021. And I took an offer on this for $100. I had redone the listing, and I had took an offer for $125.
Nice.
So again, happy to get the stuff out.
Exactly.
And I removed the background on that first one, you can tell.
Yep.
If you look at the other photos, you can tell it was pre-background remover when these were all listed, so it's a bit darker than it would be now. So I removed the background.
And it pops.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure I had that second photo as my main photo before, which is what I would have done to show detail back before. And now, I mean, I'm happy that it sold when it was relisted again. So.
Yeah. All right. Next up is this UC Riverside zip-up hoodie. I got this at the bins. It probably weighed like about 2 pounds, so maybe I paid like $3 for it.
So Riverside, California?
Yes, I believe so. It's a JanSport zip-up hoodie.
Where the heck is Lesotho?
This is, University of California, Riverside. Where's what?
Look at where it's made in. Made in what the heck? Where the heck is that?
I don't know. Is that Greek? What is it? Somebody in the chat, tell us.
Google. Somebody can't Google.
Somebody Google that up. Anyway, I just thought it was a cool hoodie, and like I always say every week, I'm always complaining about how disgusting sweatshirts feel nowadays. So anything that feels like an old sweatshirt, I feel
Michelle
like
says
value.
it's in Africa.
Oh.
I have never ever heard of that country.
I've seen it before on tags, but I've never
Must
bothered
be a country in Africa. Okay, all right.
Anyway, I thought it was a cool hoodie. I've had it for a while now, probably like 4 or 5 months, but $62.99. I'm happy with that. Next up.
Okay, this is another one.
Don't you have two of these?
I did. I sold one a long time ago. So I had this. I purchased this from Yesterday's Fits before they moved into the shop that they're in now. Probably our first buyout when we barely knew the guys. And Katie and I went and shopped their place a couple of times. And you can tell this is another one that I had ended, done sell similar on. And I had paid originally $20 for these jackets. So World of Troop was created by LL Cool J. It was a line of clothing created by LL Cool J in the 80s into the 90s, and then it went out of business. And then they came back in the last 5 years or so and tried to revamp the brand. In any case, I had these. These were dead stock. And I took an offer on this for $135. And I was happy to get it out the door. I've probably had it for 3 or 4 years now. It's big. It's bulky. Get out.
Get out. All right, next up, I've got this Night Falls on Manhattan sweatshirt that I got at the bins. So I paid maybe $3 for it. It's just a movie, a 90s movie, and you can pretty much with something like this, it's going to be probably a crew cast sweatshirt because
we find so much of that here because we're so close to LA.
Yeah, and so something like this, like nobody's buying like merch. It's not like an Avengers movie or something like that.
Right.
So generally, it's somebody that like worked there. Anyway, I got it at the bin, so I paid a few bucks for it, and I mean, I've had this I got it within the last 6 months. And so I sold it for $89.99.
Oh, you got that from Jen, she said.
Oh, did I? All right, cool. I got that from Jen. So that means I paid like $5-10 for it. That works too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, $89.99. There you go. There you go. Ooh, fancy.
Okay, so this one, like, look at how wrinkled it is. It is what it is, right? It's Shantung silk, which wrinkles very easily. This dress, I'm trying to remember where I purchased it, but I think I got this at an ARC store in Colorado. If I did, I paid under $10 for it. I've had it listed for quite a bit. It is one of those, it's just, I mean, if you look at the photos of the arms, I mean, there's no way to get this to look nice because Shantung silk is the type of silk that if you tried to use steam on it and got water on it, it would water stain. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. I'm pretty sure that I just threw it in the dryer inside out to try and get it, like, to get some of the wrinkles out of it. This is this beautiful, it was probably made for a costume or it was couture made for someone. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous dress that was very tiny. So yeah, I accepted an offer on this for $175. And it's just so pretty. It's really pretty. I just, this is the time when I wish I had tiny little models to put some of my clothes on because I think it would look so nice. But anyway, I was happy to sell it for $175. I definitely would have even taken less, but I had it listed really high because of the quality of the material and how nice it was made. And I guarantee if it fits the person that purchased it, they're going to love it.
Yeah. All right, next up, I know this is definitely something I got from Jen.
Yeah,
and I've sold it on Grailed. There had another one was a similar style. It was cow that I think I already sold for like 40. But this one sold on Grailed for 55. And Grailed now I get, they changed the way they do things and I get the labels sent to me. So it's nice when I sell something on Grailed, even though it's very rare these days. That platform has really sadly gone way downhill.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but I have to comment on Allison said, I'll model for you. So Allison is coming out here in another couple of weeks to go on the cruise with us, the Reseller Relaxation Cruise. She's coming out a couple days early to stay with us first, and we're all going to drive to the port together. And Allison, I swear to God, I'm going to put some super girly girl dress on you and take a picture of it just because I can, because you said that now. So it's happening. It's happening.
Anyway, so this was one I got from Jen and paid $5 for. I love it. It was so cute. It's a cool shirt. It was, let's see, what is it on the, whoops, no, shut up. It's on the Juanita tag. All right. Next up for you.
All right. So this was one of my listers that was,
I'm like, it's so dark.
Pretty terrible. I apologize for the quality of this photo because this shirt was actually fantastic. It was this great 90s oversized silk color block shirt. Like it looks like
it's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince, Belle Biv DeVoe, one of those, right? It was definitely one of those.
Well, what's going on down here?
That was the doorknob from her at the door where she would take the photos. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand. What is this that comes with it?
It's the doorknob. Listen, we're not going to talk about it. Anyway, so this is just this great, it was made in Hong Kong, which generally means 80s. This is probably late 80s, early 90s. It's definitely got that 90s salt and pepper vibe, whatever. It was just super cool. But it sold for the price you see there on Etsy for $89.95, and this actually shipped international. So this, I got a little bit more for it.
That's awesome.
With the shipping. So
I hope you don't get an INAD because they didn't
send the doorknob. Thankfully, Etsy doesn't have INADs, or I would be a little worried about it.
Excuse me, where's my doorknob? They're real expensive here.
No, you do not want that lister's number.
All right.
There's a reason why I have not mentioned the names of the last two listers that I've had. The one that I have now is pretty good. The other two that I had previously that didn't stick around very long, just weren't very good.
All right, next up, this is not like a big sale by any means, but I have been, as I've kind of honed and polished my whole process of, from beginning to end with my stuff, I can go pretty quickly, item per item. And so, doing lower price stuff, that's okay, man. If I can get it for cheap. I got this shirt from Robin, Joe and Robin. I bought a bunch of t-shirts just a couple weeks ago. I haven't had it for very long. I listed it just this last week and it sold within a few days. This is one I almost kept for myself. And I was like, I already have enough t-shirts. And so I went ahead and listed it. And it literally sold within a couple of days on Mercari. Mercari, I actually did have a bump in sales when everything changed. This week, it hasn't been too crazy there, but $29 I paid $2 for each item plus add $1 on for shipping. So I paid $3, sold it for $29, and now with their new deal, no fees for me. So I got that full $29, and then I probably spent like $4.50 to ship it. So $3 into $25
in a couple of days. That's pretty good.
In a couple of days. There you go. This is a really cool shirt, though. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
it's from the
Warhol Museum.
The Andy Warhol Museum. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can read your title.
How dare you? You were so freaking rude. Go ahead.
Okay, so people always wonder, why would you pick up these heavy leather jackets? This one is not even super vintage. I would say this is early to mid like maybe up to like 2000 to 2005. That's not even a very vintage tag. I was able to look it up and find that it was, it's not, like I said, it's not super old. It's borderline calling it vintage. However, early 2000s is vintage in the world of fashion. It sold for $199.
What?
Plus shipping. So when Lorna did my cross posting, this is a heavier one, so I'm pretty sure she added shipping to this, which was great. I'm thrilled that she added shipping because I usually do free shipping on Etsy as well. But this was a heavy one. It was one of those big heavy motorcycle jackets. It was probably a solid 4 to 5 pounds. So it had shipping of like $9 or something. I don't know. But yeah, they paid $200 plus shipping.
Crazy. It's a nice jacket though.
It is a nice jacket. It was very well made. It was super intense. It's like that intentional distressing. It's a nice biker jacket. It's just, it's not a brand that people like look for, which is why the brand isn't in the title.
Yeah. All right, last one for me. This is one, correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer, but I'm pretty sure I got this from yesterday's Fits when I bought a bunch of t-shirts from Jesse for $2 a piece. He's like, I have a ton of stuff, $2 a piece. They were going to be putting it into their...
Look at that shitty photo. What is with that flat
How
lay?
dare you? I abandoned my flat lay. I think I'd had 3 photo sessions where I did the flat lay, and then as I was listing, I'm like, God, my pictures, I just hate the way the pictures look. So there were some things where it looked good, but a lot of stuff where I'm like, I just do not like the way this looks. So I have gone away from it. It didn't last very long. Any small amount of time I was saving.
Listen, it works for other people. I'm not saying I'm for you. That is a shitty photo, which is why I'm like, I'm shocked.
Well, it's also like a super destroyed. Like this thing is just thrashed and beat up and like holes everywhere, just absolutely destroyed. And I paid $2 for it, and it sold on Depop for $48.99. But it's just I
mean, look at the Depop titles. They're so funny. So you can't put a title in Depop. For those of you that don't sell on Depop, I don't know how anybody ever finds anything. Seriously.
It's still searchable.
Men's white blue t-shirt. Like, it creates titles that are just have
nothing. But the titles don't really matter because it searches.
I know, it's just fun. It's just weird for me.
It is weird. But anyway, yeah, Alexis, exactly. But like I said, I quit doing the flat lays. I couldn't get the lighting right, and I'm like, my old pictures looked way better.
Well, I mean, as you can tell from my photos, it really doesn't matter as long.
It doesn't.
Good enough is good enough.
It's more about how I feel about the way my store looks. So, but yeah, it really doesn't matter that much. But whatever. All right.
I agree, Laura. Leather jackets, fur jackets. Listen, we've had this discussion before. I don't buy and sell new fur clothing.
New fur
clothing for my own personal reasons. I'm not preaching at anyone. It is what it is. But I love to sell, and I do buy new leather, so it's not a huge difference, right? I mean, I'm not a hypocrite. But I do love selling vintage fur because people still love fur jackets and fur coats. And if you're reselling something that's already been created and been in the universe for decades at a time already, that's the type of fur I want to be selling. Yeah. That's what I want people to be wearing. If innocent animals were slaughtered for it in a very bad manner most of the time, then please get some good use out of it.
I mean, you don't really know. They could have been asshole animals.
Well, that's true. They really could have been.
Just kidding.
But, I prefer let's recycle some of the older fur because if you want to have that fashion and you want people to wear that fashion, and people do, and they always will, let's have them be wearing stuff and that's been around for a long time, right? I mean... True.
Anyway, all right. So to our last part of our show, talking about our goals that we had set last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago. But I did, Alexis was here for a couple of days, and I had said, I'm really bad about making myself go to the bins, and like, because I'll get a bunch of stuff, or I'll do a big buy, and I'll have all the stuff, and I'll do my photographs, and it's like, oh, now I've got like 100 things to list, and then I kind of like zone in on the listing part, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I need more stuff. And the reality is, like, with going to the bins, like, yeah, I'll have a good day, but I generally don't fill more than, like, one IKEA bag. So it's like, I need to be going regularly, and I need to be making sure, like, even if I already got stuff here, I need to make sure I'm ready for my next round, because with how I'm doing things now, it's like, I have to perpetually be bringing stuff in. And so I told Alexis, I'm like, all right, this next week, I'm going to go every day this week except for Monday because that's the big shipping day. And so I decided I was going to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I did it. And you went with me one time, and
I don't know if I went Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember.
You went Thursday, I think. And I found a bunch of really cool stuff. And that's the thing, when you actually go and then you find crazy stuff, you're like, man, if I hadn't come today, I wouldn't have even gotten this. And I have a couple of pieces. I have one in particular that was quite the shock. And you guys will have to watch our haul videos to find out about it. It was quite the shock because I bought it as a gift to somebody else and didn't realize until I got home and looked it up on Vicky's suggestion. I'll give her credit for that it was actually something that's worth like $150. And yeah, you guys are gonna have to watch the videos for that. But had I not gone that day, had I not thought like, oh, I'm gonna buy this thing because I think it's funny, like bam, $150 right there. So yeah, so I was able to accomplish my goal. I think I have enough stuff. Well, I might go once or twice this week, but I think I have enough stuff for my next round. But yeah, so I think every day I've been listing my 10 items. How about you?
Yeah, I've been listing at least 10 to 12 brand new items every day, sometimes more, but never less. Reworking another 5 to 10, sometimes more, never less. And then I did list at least 15 to 20 items from my hard goods and dead, back pile over the last week or so. I have finished 2 books. We got back to reading, by the way.
Yeah, we have been reading almost every day.
Almost every day. I finished 2 books and I'm still reading. So, I've completed all of my goals that I've wanted to do. I have not gotten through all of the photography yet. I do still have some things to photograph that I purchased over the last week or so, but I'm getting there. Like, it's not... I don't have a huge death pile or a huge back pile. Everything's been put away. The house is clean. Yeah. Like, I'm feeling like I have a lot of energy. I'm looking at Julie's question there, and I'm going to say, Julie, it's not going to affect anything at all changing your store name. If you'd like to change your eBay name or your store name, it won't affect anything as far as your sales or your algorithm. The reality is, unless you are someone that has a huge following for who you specifically are, it is not going to change anything for your marketing. Like, if I were someone like Tech and Sports, I know has a huge following mostly within this community, or like Ryan and Allie, the Hip Lion is their store that they share publicly. People that purchase specifically from your store name because of who you are, that may change. It might be harder for them to find you, but in that case, most people don't have that type of following. I know that I don't sell to people that know who I am. I don't have a very big multi-buyer experience. Like, I don't have a lot of returning buyers and stuff like that. So unless your store is marketed and curated and you've built a brand name through socials that is bringing people specifically because of that store name, changing your store name is not going to affect your sales at all. People shop for items. They don't shop stores specifically as a rule. Yeah.
Alexis says to keep going. The more you go, the better stuff you find. Put the alarm on low. And she said going more often raised your ASP at least 10%. Yeah, the reality, that's the thing, is I need to be going more regularly. So right now I'm like, I think I might have enough stuff. I need to not listen to myself like that. I'm going to go, how about this, Alexis? I'm going to go at least 2 times this week. And the thing is, it's close enough that, and I'm getting up early and going in the morning. And honestly, like every day this week that I went, I was done by 9:30. Like, it opens at 8. So I wasn't spending that much time.
Liz, unless you're effing Linda's stuff. Listen, I don't know who Linda is, but eBay promotes the heck out of Linda's stuff. Front page on everybody's app, everybody's storefront. Right? I don't know who she knows or who she blew to get there, but geez, she's like, I don't know what this person is, but like Linda's stuff.
She's doing well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so speaking of our title, Preparing for Disruption. Yeah, we have a lot going on this next like month and a half or so, 2 months. And, it's giving me a bit of anxiety because I have at some points been up to like over 100 items in my draft bank. It will last me for like 10 days in a row of not having to list anything actively. Right now I'm at 19. And I need to
I don't have
ready.
Any more.
I know, but
I'm at 0 in my draft bank right now. 0.
I know you are, but you do have a lister who...
She should be giving me 80 drafts within the next couple of days.
Right. So that's the difference, is that I have to do it all myself. And so I do have a bit of anxiety because we are, next week we're going for the 16th through the 20th, we're going to be in Texas. So it's like I need to have all of those days at least, but I would like to have some more cushion. We're going to be doing that. And then I think we get home and we have maybe a week. I think we have a week in between when we get home.
And then Allison shows up and then we go on the
she's going to be a big disruption.
Cruise.
Now, we're going to be able to work still while she's here, but probably not as long of hours. So that's, she's going to be a couple days before and I think a couple days after. And then we're going on the cruise. And then we get back, and then we're home for maybe another week or so. I don't know what the dates are that we're going.
We're home for about
New
a
England.
week, and then we go to New England on May 11th.
Yeah.
For 8 days and 7 nights. We go to spend time with Diane and Trish for the first couple of days and their families. We're actually spending Mother's Day with Diane and Trish. And then we are going to Rhode Island after the first 3 days. And then I will spend the next 5 days with my friends and family in Rhode Island and try to fit everybody in. The last several times that we've traveled to New England, we've made it a point to spend more time with Diane while she's here with us, thankfully. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, that cuts my family friend trip down by a few days.
That's all right.
But Diane will not always be with us, and my friends, God willing, will be. So it is what it is.
Well, okay, so like I said, we're doing all this stuff that interrupts our time here, and so I have to be able to list enough ahead of time. Basically, I need to have enough to cover our Texas trip, and then when we get back, I'm going to have that week. I'm going to be probably in a panic, but I will say, with the Texas trip, it is specifically a sourcing trip, so. Ideally, I'm going to come home with quite a few items. Mm-hmm. So when I get home, I can at least get right to work and get stuff started listing for the next time away. But then on top of that, we're totally screwing with our handling times back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Exactly.
And that does have an impact too. So, in the past, historically, what we've done when we've had all this traveling going on, we've gotten completely thrown out of our habits and our consistency, and that's what really has hurt us in the past, along with just market changes. And so now it's I'm interested to see what happens this year with us, because we are going into one of those heavy travel times. Mm-hmm. How it impacts things when we're keeping up on.
Well, I will say that when we did it in December and we went on our cruise in December, I was already working that system, and I did have things go live every day while we were on vacation, and I had a fantastic week while we were on vacation. Of course, it was also December. But I did see in the chat there, Kelly asked if there were, hi, Poochie.
Lori answered.
Okay, yeah, there are a couple more spots still on the cruise. Our cruise pricing with the discount is no longer available. That actually is gone. However, the pricing is not too different right now. Lori will know for sure. Lori has been our travel agent for the cruise, fellow reseller and friend, helped all of us get everybody booked and scheduled. She's been fantastic. So Lori, thank you again so much for that. I really wish you were coming with us. But we have about 30 people that are going on the cruise.
It's going to be fun.
And it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, very fun.
Yeah, Laura, I don't know how Linda's stuff. I don't know what the arrangement is. I really
she
don't.
She's got the sole eBay authentication for bags and luxury fashion. So
yeah, I don't really know. I don't know who the person is or how they ended up in that position. But like I said, I mean, good for them, because obviously,
yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
They were nowhere near at the sales where they are now a year ago, and in this last 6 months to a year, she's been that brand. I don't even know if the person's name really is Lisa, whatever her name is. I don't even know if that's a real person, but that store has exploded because of that front page marketing everywhere. So
yeah. Anyway, so as far as goals moving forward, so like I said, I'm going to do a couple of days, and please guys feel free to add in the chat or in the comments after the fact of the show what your goals are, what you're hoping to get accomplished. But my goal is hitting the bins a couple times this week. Even though we're going to be going on a sourcing trip, I need to keep it going, and the more I have ready to go, the better. And so stop. And hold on a second. No, I can't. Sorry. Anyway, the more I kind of keep on top of that, the better it is for me in the future. And then also, I do really need, the one thing I'm really slacking on is actually getting my 10 items, trying to do like the ending items and relisting it and doing that stuff. Like
I may end up
I'm
doing
way behind.
So here's what I need to do is this week, because even though I do have a draft bank, my draft bank is in my list perfectly catalog, right? So I still have to create titles and check everything. It's the draft bank that's done by my lister. So I also cannot take that stuff super easily and get it and bring it over. So I'm going to, over this next week, bring those drafts over and be putting 3 or 4 a day into and keeping it in draft so that I can then schedule them before we go on vacation. So there's like this whole prep thing that has to happen. Yeah. So anyway.
So yeah, so that's what I have to do. And I'm trying to think if I have any other goals. I don't know. Just kind of keep it on.
Yeah. I mean, keep doing what we're doing.
Because it seems to be working, and I do like I'm still behind. Like my oldest listings are still over a year old, so I have a lot of listings.
Mine are 11 months old.
Yeah, I have a lot of listings that need totally new titles, repriced, reworked, and I could be probably selling a lot more because, like I showed you guys, I'm selling at least 2, 3, 4, 5 items a week. That's stuff that I relisted. So. It's definitely like I've got the stuff already in my inventory that can be sold. It's just not being marketed correctly at the moment.
Exactly.
So anyway.
All right, everyone. I hope you all have a fantastic week. We will get at least 1 or 2 haul videos up this week as well. We do have lots of stuff. And I hope everybody makes lots of sales and does some fun stuff and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.